Hey guys, this is James.
And this is Denny from TDB, bringing you guys episode 127.
That's a lot of episodes.
A lot of episodes.
Yeah.
So we have a wooey from the famed eBay of the East, James.
Taobao. The
Bao.
Yeah.
And this is from Xian.
Eight, like the number 8 Xian
tea.
So, Ba, which is how you say 8 really terribly in Chinese. Baxian tea. This costs about $10 on Taobao, so a little bit more to get it stateside. But 250 gram bag, that's a lot of tea. What do you think this smells like? It smells pretty proper, right?
It smells great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it smells sweet. It has a little bit of fruitiness to it. It's not very smoky. It's not very chocolatey. It smells like a pretty accessible tea.
Yep.
So looking forward to trying it. And it's always fun. I like trying these quote unquote value teas just because, some of them will taste really good.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing about price that means that the tea will be bad necessarily.
Absolutely.
There is a correlation.
Sometimes. Yeah.
And as you get higher up in price, that correlation seems to depending, go away.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you are satisfied with the tea like this and you don't want to spend a lot of money, then by all means, don't bother with the more expensive teas.
Yeah. So I'm gonna fill up the guy one about a third of the way. Oops. And here we go. We'll do maybe, depending on how this looks, a couple of rinses. It's actually surprisingly not very sentimenty, not very gross.
A good sign?
It's a very good sign. I think that's one of the easiest tests of lower quality tea. Is that it just kind of got that film stuff on it, you know?
Yeah.
It also happens at the end of the bag a little bit too, but that's right. Smack dab in that wooey.
Mineral-y.
Yeah, absolutely mineral-y. A little bit of some sweet fruit stuff. Nice
Yeah.
and really dark, so it's really well roasted. Sometimes you'll see these wooeys, when we're brewing them out, get greener.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be more that they've been fermented as opposed to roasted.
Yep.
They'll be roasted a little bit, but...
And this is definitely one of those teas that's just going to depend a lot on how you brew it. Like, if you brew this Western style, it's just going to come off very differently, giving it 2 rinses.
Yep.
It's going to just come off very differently than if you brewed it with, like, a shit ton of leaf, as we've done a couple times in the past.
Hopefully I'm not overloading your water.
The scientific term. Yeah.
Are we getting on down here? We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Let's give this a flash brew because those steepings look nice and vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
Give it just another second here. So this will be light.
Yeah.
And actually it looks a little bit more yellow-orange than...
Yeah. And if you want sort of like a very casual cup of tea, this might be kind of like the way to brew it, I would say. Like getting this more just like tea flavored water in some sense.
Sure.
Yeah, rather than like intense minerals or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
At least to start. Cheers. It's definitely light, but has those flavors, characteristics.
It's sweet. I don't notice any really off taste to it.
No.
So.
No. And so I've never brewed this tea, and I didn't weigh out the amount of leaf to use.
Mm-hmm.
In that scenario for you, James, when you're first trying out a tea, maybe you're not even going to weigh it out. It's just the first steeping you've ever done with a new tea. Would you end up erring on the side of light? Would you end up just trying to go for broke?
I tried to, so usually when I'm doing that, I'm like evaluating teas for some reason or other. And usually with those teas, I will start out going pretty heavy.
Okay.
So go with pretty familiar parameters. Like the idea being that you just want to get the most out of the tea possible, and you're going to expose flaws. It might be too bitter. It might get sour. And then from there you can scale it back is usually what I do. Like if you really did add too much leaf, pull some out of the gaiwan. No problem.
Yeah, totally. And the other thing probably that's playing into that a little bit is that the amount of tea that you have will influence that too. You know, if you only have 2 cups to brew total because you got a sample or whatever, or your friend gave you a couple cups, then you might not want to err on too light just because you wouldn't get the full experience of the tea.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, go big or go home, right?
Well, you know, I actually am not as much of a go big or go home when it comes to when it comes to raw yet. And
I can understand.
Yeah, and I do notice that when I'm drinking a couple of sessions of raw a day, I can take I can take a little bit more of an intense brewing parameters out of the gate.
And so, my question to you would be, so when you're going lighter on raw, what does that mean? Because I know a lot of people brew at lower temperatures, or does it mean more like lower steep times, lower leaf to water ratio? What does that mean?
It actually, for me, I have found that trying to process the tea into essentially matcha as much as I possibly can into individual leaves really does help more accurately assess how much leaf to use. I end up brewing a little bit shorter of time, and I also use a little bit less leaf, but I still use hot water, boiling water.
Okay.
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's usually how I prefer to do it too. I mean, like, if you're using a ton of leaf, then you almost always just regulate with steep time, which has been my primary parameter that I will vary. It's like, if the tea is brewing up real nasty, you gotta cut back.
Yeah. And some of these teas, I just can't figure out how to not brew them, even as a flash brew, where they're just kicking my ass. So in those cases, I will, like you had mentioned, just pull some actual leaf out.
Yeah, and those will tend to be younger raw pours.
Definitely.
Okay, got it.
Cheers.
So this is kind of your familiar Yancha flavors.
Exactly.
Minerals, rocks.
Yeah. Feeling it really in the center of my tongue, and at the back of my gums in my mouth. Really nice mouthfeel. It's not super viscous or thick. It's almost light, but has a little bit of prickly mouthfeel. Weird to describe.
It's like a porcupine.
Well, yeah. So this is going to be this is too extreme of an analogy, but you know when you get Novocaine and they prick you a little bit, it's kind of like that, but very minute. You know, just the little bit of pins and needles kind of a vibe on the roof.
So would you say it's sort of slightly numbing too, or is it more just that pricks into
it? Has that kind of numbingness too, and
I could get that, yeah.
Yeah, and overall, right now we're still brewing this pretty light. So I think I'm going to give it a little bit of a heavier hand next time.
Yeah, and I think it did thicken up a bit from the first steep for sure. This definitely brought out more of those familiar wooey flavors for me at least.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think it's something that it's a fairly enjoyable brew, especially for the price.
Most definitely. Most definitely. If you want to pick up a ton of tea, this wooey tends to be a great way to do so. It's not for everybody though. I think wooey is one of the oolong categories where you do kind of love it or hate it.
Yeah, so it's not as accessible as something like Taiwanese oolongs or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Or even either just a jade Taiwanese oolong or even a roasted Taiwanese oolong.
And it can be
easier to drink.
Yeah, and it can be challenging to brew too. I don't even know how you would begin to Western steep this really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice big
whole leaves.
Leaves.
Not too chopped.
Yeah, nice and big overall.
Yeah.
Looks like not a lot of particulate, although I'm sure at the bottom of the bag it'll be a little bit gnarly. Couple of stems, but
the good thing is it's a big bag, so it's going to take a while to get there.
Yeah, I'd say this is a total value tea.
Yeah, $10, 250 grams. It's not bad. Yeah, I mean, I have too much tea as it is, so it's going to take me forever to get through this, but
Cheers.
Cheers. Lighter, sweeter, smoother, I would say, than the previous steep. So it's kind of like pick the one you want. Sort of, you could go for these light, sweet, slight fruit sweetness flavors, or you could go for something fuller, a little bit more minerally, like the second steep.
Yeah, I love that, like, little bit of, it's not tartness in a flavor sense, but it kind of causes the same little mouth puckering. And it's not that this tea is earthy, it's very minerally, but it does just feel and taste like you're close to the ground. It's really great. And yeah, that's like just this typical kind of light sweetness that you get out of Wooey teas. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So where could someone find out more about tea?
I don't know. See ya!
Do some Googling and shit, yeah.
Apparently we're doing really well in the Google search results, according to some friends.
Yeah.
You know who you are. So, folks can find us on tdb.org. Check us out. Plenty of information there, articles, tons of videos. We do in-between episodes that are in between episodes like this, more casual, more miscellaneous.
We're on Periscope.
We are on Periscope, which is really fun. And I think that to do that, you follow... I think you need to have the app, and then you follow us, which is just TDB, which is our Twitter handle. Follow us on Twitter. And the newsletter. Also, just send millions of dollars to this address below.
tdb.org at gmail.com. Just send us PayPal.
PayPal.
Yeah, send us gifts so we don't have to pay like the PayPal fees. We are your best friends, your BFFs forever.
And subscribe for more videos. And we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.